Hello and welcome to I Speak Organized. Today's video is interview number 3 of my 5-part series all about interviewing professional organizers and how they got started in the industry, what their niche is, and just having a general conversation about what it's like to work as a professional organizer. And today's interview is with Monica McCarter of the Purple Box Organizer. She has been in the industry for 10 years and has just recently pivoted to virtual organizing. So today's interview is going to focus on virtual organizing as an offered service. If this is something that you're interested in learning more about, then stick around and let's get into it. If you're new to the I Speak Organized YouTube universe, then welcome. My name is Melanie and I'm your professional organizer and productivity consultant. I help hardworking families and professionals find form in their space and purpose for every phase of life. If you are considering becoming a professional organizer, want to learn more about the industry, or if you love decluttering and home organizing tips, as well as productivity practices and motivation techniques, then you should consider becoming a subscriber to my YouTube channel. I make new videos on those subjects every single week. All you have to do to become a subscriber is hit the little circle icon of my face at the end of the video, or at any time you can tap the little subscribe button down in the corner. I film all of these YouTube videos in my spare time, which only occurs while my small children nap. So show me some love, hit the thumbs up, tap the little notification bell, and that way you will never miss another opportunity to learn something new about organizing and productivity. I have to mention that this series is in celebration of hitting 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I have since surpassed that goal, and I am so honored to have each and every one of you who has subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And to celebrate that, I am giving away a 1-hour coaching call for anybody who is considering getting in the professional organizing industry. Anybody that wants to talk about how to find clients and just the basic business startup questions that you might have to give yourself a little bit of information and a boost in confidence to go for it. Wait till the very end of the video where I will announce how you can enter into that giveaway. Okay, let's get into the interview with Monica of the Purple Box Organizer. All right, speaker fam, welcome to, this is part 3 of our interview series. And today we have the lovely Monica McCarter, and the owner of Purple Box Organizing. Is that right?
That's right. That's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. This is very exciting. You are a fellow Washingtonian.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to speak in the same time zone, which makes life so much easier.
That's right. There's very few of us here on the Pacific timeline, so it's hard to kind of match up with people sometimes.
It is, yeah. My first 2 interviews, one was in Pittsburgh and one was in Chicago. So I'm having to do like easy math in my head, and it's not so easy, I guess, whatever, but you know. So I want to hear all about your business. So tell me what areas you work in, and kind of, you know, give me a little rundown about your particular organizing business.
Okay. Well, I'm in the Seattle, Washington area. And so we've been here about 4 years now, and I have serviced a good amount of clients in this area. But in the last year, basically with the start of COVID, I turned my business completely virtual. Wow. So the only clients that I service in this area now is just kind of sprinkled here and there. So now I'm able to serve more clients because it's online.
That's amazing. Okay, so you have fully transitioned to virtual,
mm-hmm.
which is so interesting to me. I've only done a few virtual sessions here and there because I prefer to kind of get into the space physically, but I have considered the idea of trying to do more virtual work. So will you kind of break that down and tell me what that looks like for your clients and how they respond to the training and everything?
Sure. So I have to first be open to the fact that it's not going to be for everybody.
Yes.
Because Melanie, I'm a lot like you, where I really prefer to be in the space and doing the doing part. But I just can't, as a mom of 3 kids and trying to keep my family and my own home going, I can't always be away to do that. So be able to service more clients, I decided to go virtual. So what I do is I approach it about the same way that I would in person. I just have to rely on technology to do that. So I'll ask for some kind of video or a Marco Polo from them of whatever space that we're kind of revamping, so that they can show me slowly what the problem areas are, how many things are in that area or space.
Right.
And then I talk about maybe how much decluttering we want to do, whether it's donate or trash, or passing on to somebody else. And then we talk about basically the outside parts of it. What are we going to keep furniture wise? How are we going to organize those things? Then we can sort after we've decluttered and then find homes for everything.
Amazing. Cool. So do you feel like your clients are truthful about their circumstances because it's on video, or do you feel like sometimes they shove things to the side and then you find out that there's more to the situation than maybe meets the eye of the screen? Or what's your experience with that?
Honestly, the ones that are ready, I feel like are pretty truthful. And sometimes they'll take me in other areas too, like, oh, this isn't the worst. I should show you this. So there's kind of both to that. And there are times where like you make some progress and then you come back for another session and you're like, there's more things than there were the first time. Right. And I think it's that like, oh, they can help me with this, so it's okay if I keep bringing these things in here. So that part is a little bit challenging, where if I'm not physically in the space, I don't have as much control. But what I feel like it teaches them is they're in that space themselves. They know kind of how it will function best for them. And I can give them some support. I can cheer them on. I can give them some ideas. But they're the ones that are going to be able to practice these habits and implement them and then take them further in all the spaces in their home if they so choose.
Awesome. Yeah. And I love that. I feel like overall, the progress that a client can make via virtual instruction might actually be, it might be more complete. I feel like if they're doing the work themselves, they have a better understanding. They're not just letting somebody else come in and do it for them. So to continue to reiterate your point, they are sort of developing the habits that you're teaching them. And so, they're kind of able to do a lot of this work themselves and really feel the value of what that is like, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So I want to back up just a bit because I know a lot of people that come to my YouTube channel that are interested in professional organizing are in the same boat that you and I are with kids. So tell me, you have 3 kids, pretty little ones?
Fairly young. They're a little spaced out. So I have a 10-year-old son, a 7-year-old son, and then a 2-year-old daughter.
Oh my goodness. So you have you have the whole gamut situation. So you probably, and I've watched a lot of your content on Instagram and on YouTube, and I know that you love to get your kids involved in the process. And so is that something that you also work on with your virtual offerings? Do you work with families and work with kids, or is that kind of something that you like to do with your own family?
I can. No one's asked for the virtual. I've done it in person, and that's kind of tricky because I had one client who hired me and she wanted me to help her kids, and it was just kind of they didn't know that, and I was just kind of thrown into the mix.
Oh, okay.
She left the premises. I was like, not exactly what I signed up for. Right. But honestly, most of my clients are coming to me and just saying, help me. Like, I need to understand a little bit better. I need better systems. And then they can go and help their family. But that's why I try to teach a little bit of both, and why I ran my kids camp last month in June, to kind of show parents, like, you don't have to do, mostly moms, you don't have to do it all by yourself. It does take some time and some, helping them through it. But once they learn, they can kind of start taking things off your plate. And then we're teaching them to be contributors to the home and to society in the end.
For sure. Yeah. I want to get a little bit more into kids camp in a little bit.
Okay.
But I do just want to point out for everybody watching that you basically are trying to do exactly what you're teaching your clients in terms of how you pivoted your business. Mm-hmm. So for people who are very similar to you or in the same boat as a mom of relatively young kids, it's okay to sort of make decisions to not do everything and sort of pick the most, like what you would prioritize, or pick the most important aspect of your business or your home or your family or whatever it is to focus on. And
Absolutely.
So I think that gives your clients such a great perspective because you are actually doing that in your own life. So I think that's great. I love it. Okay, so let's move on just a little bit. I want to dive a bit deeper into what your business mission is. Like what exactly, if you had to kind of break it down and talk about your mission statement, what would that be so that as people are trying to develop their own business identity? So tell us a little bit more about your business identity.
Okay. So what I do, this is what I call my elevator statement. When I talk to clients and people don't know exactly what I do, I call myself a home coach, especially because I do it virtually. I don't want to just say organizing coach. And we can get that into that a little bit further into our conversation. But I say that I help people create personal and household goals to declutter their home, schedule, and their mind. I feel like those are all connected. And sometimes we just try to focus on one and then others are broken and we're not quite sure why it's still not working.
Right.
I help you define routines, design systems, and then simplify your thoughts so we can move forward. We can have momentum, less judgment, all the good things.
Right. So you are focusing a lot on the mindset and sort of changing the way that you view how your environment should be and how you act within your environment. And so you're maybe focusing a little bit less on like the aesthetics of it and more about changing the mindset. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love my home to look clean. And I don't like to use the phrase, I have to let things go, because I still don't like that.
Yeah.
But if you walk around my home right now, like, yeah, it's much different from when I had just my oldest to now when I have 3 and more square footage.
Right.
It just takes more time and more effort, as well as more kids takes more time and more effort to kind of take care of. So yeah, you absolutely have to be able to prioritize and find what are the most important things. And so that's where I feel like I can I get you, moms, right?
Yes.
And try to help them through, like, I'm in the trenches right now. Let's work together and let's help you through this. Right.
And you are, for the most part, succeeding in creating a good home environment and not losing your mind.
I think so. I don't know.
I know it's not entirely possible to do it all the time. And so that's something, because I also really appreciate the productivity coaching aspect of our business. I feel like it is super important. It is so vital. And it's not something that people like to think about because I don't know if it's scary because it creates the actual change in your space when you change your habits and your mindset around everything. But it's so very important to create lasting change, get rid of that overwhelming feeling, get your kids involved, like all the strategies that you, I'm sure, implement with your clients. I mean, all of that stuff is just so important. So I'm really glad that there is another mom out there that's gently pushing this agenda and trying to really like make lasting change for their clients.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like there's so many people that need help. And so sometimes in our business, it's easy to say, wow, there's a lot of professional organizers, because we know that there are.
Right.
But the clients of ours or potential clients, the ones that need help, don't necessarily know that.
Right.
And I feel like there's plenty of us with different personalities and different niches and things to offer that we can cater to those people that need help. So I probably appeal to a lot of moms with young kids or lots of kids, and not necessarily just the working mom, though I've helped them, you know, and people who have grandkids or kind of have moved on from having the young kids in their home. They have just a different perspective perspective. And it's not that they've forgotten what it's like. It's just they aren't in it still. And so I feel like those differences can help us appeal to different clients and the right clients for us.
Right. Yeah, that is a super, super point. I'm really glad that you mentioned that. Okay, so let's kind of move on a little bit. So I guess we delved into your niche a bit. And so you're kind of working with moms with young kids, and that's sort of like your area of speciality. But what would you say is your favorite type of organizing project and why?
Well, this is going to sound crazy, and I was thinking about this. What is my favorite? And I honestly think it's a toy room.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
and
cool.
Those can be like an explosion of messes. You can have like a whole basement that's a toy area, but I think it's because there are obvious ways to categorize things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's always ways to declutter. You can throw things away. Oh, I guess we don't really need this. Yes. And then you're left with the things that you can organize. And then the sky's the limit. You don't have to have like a certain looking this or that. Like it's just toys. Right. So it can be really inexpensive, and it can be very, very simple and functional so that your kids can kind of see exactly how they're laid out. And then for me, teaching the client that, look, if you lay it out this way and you organize it this way, then your kids can learn to do the work, and then you're not having to redo it every single time.
Exactly. Yes. I totally 100% agree. I am always trying to find optimal systems that are easy for kids, because I often see these very elaborate, sort of intricate looking storage containers with itty bitty teeny tiny compartments for all the itty bitty teeny tiny things. And I think they're good in certain circumstances if you or your child are sort of more organizationally inclined. But if you're not, if it's more complicated to put it back than it is to take it out, then you're less likely to use the system, and then it just kind of goes to waste. So what is your kind of go-to organizing system for a toy space?
I do love the bins, but those can get like if you have the cubicle spaces that have the holes, I like those. Yeah. You just have to be careful of the sizes, and obviously safety for kids. If you have a climber, sometimes they climb on them. So you want to make sure you plaster them to the wall. Yeah. But don't try not to go cheap. If that's all you have is you just go inexpensive, that's totally fine. But the smaller size ones, like those will get beat up pretty fast. Yeah. But I would say for kids, those are so easy to set up and to compartmentalize and sort. You can put pictures on them. You can put pictures and words so that they kind of learn what's in those. So I love just ways to compartmentalize. I'm just thinking in our toy room, we have I have two boys, so we have a lot of masks. Yeah. Superhero masks. Yes. We have a whole bin full of superheroes. So we've got like Captain America, Iron Man, all those. Oh yeah. We have hats. We have a whole bin of cars. And that's pretty much, there's 6 of them, but I can't remember all of them. That's just a great way for them to be like, okay, all masks go in here, all the superheroes go in there. Right. So and that's probably my favorite one to use. Yeah, I like that too. And I think that's a great tip to reiterate for people if they're going to work on a toy space, is to use both a visual, like a picture, and use the words. It's a great just little hack to help the kids get involved, know exactly what to do. And it's just very obvious. And that way you're not having to do everything for them all the time, because they know what they need to do, whether they can read or not. Exactly. And they can put those two pieces together. So that's a great tip that I want to emphasize. Okay, so I want to know how long you've been doing this and how you learned about this industry. Everybody's got their own backstory, so tell me what yours is. Okay, I'll try to keep it concise. So I grew up organizing my friends' houses. Like I'd go to my friend's house and I'd organize their room. So their moms would have me over and like, oh, we love having her over because she organizes rooms. That's awesome. Some people don't love having me over because I naturally like start organizing the space, or I'm annoying that way sometimes. Yeah. So I started a cleaning business when my oldest was about 1.5 years. Okay. The job I was working for was kind of going away. So I thought, you know what, I can grab a cleaning supply box for $50, fill it with stuff, and go clean, and it's pretty low key.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, but I saw this extra need of like, okay, it's hard to clean a space if there's clutter, whether it's toys or mail or whatever it is. It's hard to do that. So I saw this extra need, and I knew that I wanted to implement that in my business. And then once we moved, and I started doing that, once we moved, I knew that I wanted to try to be able to teach that, because in my very, very first client's home, I was just picking up some things for her, and I organized a kid's bookshelf and a little book nook. And she said, "How did you do that?"
Huh.
And it never occurred to me that, like, doesn't everyone know how to just organize it like this?
Right, right.
And so that made me realize, like, oh, this is something that I not only can do for people, I can teach, because it's not just that they don't have the time. And she had 5 kids, so she was super busy.
Right.
It's that they're not quite sure, like, this process on how to do it. So that's when I realized I wanted to teach it. And then it was kind of an after effect that I realized, oh, there are a ton of other professional organizers, and there's Facebook groups and friends that you can get involved with. And so that was kind of like an after effect.
Yeah. And so remind me, I forget if you just said this, but about how many years ago was that?
That was 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So you have been doing this for quite some time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. Yes. Cause your son was about 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's just so cool. So did you Google search to see, like, did you get curious one day and you were like, organizing profession, like make money organizing or something like that?
No, I just thought I could do it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do it. And I'm a little bit older, so like the tech aspect of it came later. It was just, I'm just going to go and do. And so I first worked off of word of mouth, and that worked. And so I really didn't need to do anything else. And then once we started the idea of moving, that's when I kind of hopped onto the online idea, and maybe I could start videos and stuff like that. So.
Right. Yeah. And you have your own YouTube channel, right? Where you post some tutorials and things of that nature. Awesome. And is it the Purple Box Organizer YouTube channel?
I think so. If you just type in Purple Box Organizer, it should come up.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be sure to link to all your information in the description box when this video gets posted on my YouTube channel, so that we can link everybody up and get that situated. Okay. That is really, really cool. So now, so you did talk a little bit about your very first job. So maybe let's pivot a bit and talk about a job where you, just something that sticks out in your brain that was sort of like a very like a pivotal moment for you in your business when you knew like this is what you wanted to do, or just something that stands out to you in your line of business.
Yeah. So one thing that I focus on is home systems and routines, because, as you know, Melanie, you can go into a home and you can make everything look great, but if they don't have some kind of routine or system to follow, it's all going to go back to the way it was, most likely. Okay. Right. Even if the mom is like trying to keep everything together, the rest of the household, it just won't happen. Right. And so I think it was this sweet mom that I worked for about 2 years. She had 4 young kids. And it wasn't long after I started working for her that her husband passed away. Okay. So she had already needed a lot of help, and now she really needed help. And so that was just a very big eye-opener to me, that like, okay, we need to back up. It's not all about keeping the home super clean at all times and organizing everything perfectly, but it is about taking a step back and let's create these systems about how do we come into our home. We're going to hang up our backpacks. Well, we can't do that if we don't have a place to hang them. We're going to hang up our coats. We're not going to just chuck them for mom to pick up later. We're going to put our shoes away in an actual place that mom's created, whether it's all on the same shelf or, you know, little Susie and Johnny have their own baskets. Being able to step back and create these systems and these routines so that you can follow them, and then they trickle up and make a bigger impact.
Yes, yes. So you're starting small. You're emphasizing the element of consistency, which is super key. And it's always just the little things like that. And I always try to teach clients about the one touch rule. Basically, is what you just described, where you're walking in the door and you're not putting your keys on the counter and then going to do something else and then moving your keys over to the chair and then doing something else and then finally putting them away.
Yes.
You're just coming in and you're doing it all at once, and you're just establishing a very simple, basic routine that just makes life so much easier. And it's funny because I don't think, like you were saying earlier, people don't necessarily think that way and they don't know. And so things that maybe come a little bit more naturally to us, or things that we think about, study, educate ourselves on, we just have to remember to pass those really super simple details down to people. Because I was talking to a client yesterday, actually, and we had a very long discussion about the difference between organizing and decluttering, because they are two very different things.
Yes.
And people often forget the decluttering portion of getting organized, and they kind of jump ahead too many steps. And then there's this whole element of chaos and overwhelm because, they're trying to implement a system when they already have too many things, so
yes.
It's just interesting how that all fits together. So we've talked a little bit about how you like to implement your systems, and now I kind of want to know, and this could be unique from your perspective because of the virtual organizing. What is the most challenging aspect of your job, and something most people wouldn't know?
I'm not sure if most people don't know. Maybe it's just they don't think about it.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about it anyway, and I kind of touched on it earlier, is that I want people to understand that no matter what your organization level or skill is right now, that can change and you can learn how to organize. Even if you're only taking one aspect from Melanie's YouTube video or Monica's Kids Clean Camp, if you're just taking one small thing and implementing that in your home and in your systems, then you're headed already in the right direction. And I promise you, just taking one little habit will snowball into other things. You'll either think of things that will work better in your home, or you'll come back to Melanie's channel and that was so good, I need more now. She has great ideas, and it'll just snowball and it'll improve your life and your home.
Right. And I don't know if I've mentioned this in some of the other interviews, but I don't care. I'm going to mention it again here. So I'm assuming that you are familiar with, or maybe possibly have read Dave Ramsey's, his budget. He's a budget guru guy. Yeah. He's the financial piece. And so I use his debt snowball philosophy, which is basically exactly what you just described, where you're starting with simple, easy wins, things that you can get done quickly, that build that confidence, that build that momentum.
Yes.
And so that I just want to emphasize that you're making that point, because that is something that we can really help our clients do very easily. And it doesn't have to be this huge project. You don't have to start with the biggest, craziest, most overwhelming thing. You can, start with a kitchen drawer or whatever,
yes.
Just like you said, like a simple tip from your YouTube channel, and just go from there.
Absolutely. I love that. And as organizers, I think by nature, we don't necessarily feel like I want paying clients for everything. And that's why we have free content and free YouTube channels, because naturally, by nature, we love helping people.
Right.
And we have so many people, we don't know about it, but I'm sure we have so many people that grab information and take it and they're like, oh my gosh, this was life-changing. They may not even remember that they got it from our content or our information,
right?
But it could be life-changing for them. And that's in the end what we want.
Right.
We want people to be able to feel more free and less overwhelmed from the clutter and the disorganization.
Right. Yes, you're a true giver and a true organizer at heart. Not after the dollar signs, for sure. Yeah, it's different. There are businesses that focus more on sort of like the upscale aesthetic and the celebrity organizing and things like that. And then there is a group of us out there that really just want to help people like ourselves. Maybe, you see yourself in a client and they're just, 5 steps behind you, and they just need those 5 sets of scheduling, tips or whatever, just to kind of get up to where you know they could be because you've been there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
It's just if not more important, because there are just so many people that are overwhelmed, bogged down, and they need our help. So
yeah.
I'm glad that you are out there doing it. That makes me so happy. That really makes my heart happy. So I would assume that kind of will segue us into, that is sort of like the most passionate aspect of your business. Or, I mean, if you had to sort of elaborate on what you're most passionate about with your business, can you do that for us?
Sure. Yeah, I think the home systems, that's definitely my passion. And, I throw that term around like I get it. Just basically talking about, like we did before, how you enter your home, how you do your meal planning, how you organize cleaning your house, getting those things done. Those are home systems. My techniques can help my clients get their home more clean and more organized. And then I can help them keep it that way, not just a one and done thing, but learning these techniques help you keep it that way, which I think is such a game changer in learning things and having those skills forever. And then I teach my clients to implement good habits that are manageable action steps, not just these giant chunks of information. Okay, now you figure it out, but manageable steps that they can take, and those habits will be lasting.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sure that you come across plenty of people that have ADHD or some sort of struggle with executive function. And one thing that I have learned over the years of doing this, I haven't been doing it quite as long, about 5 years, is that people that have a tendency to get distracted very easily don't do well with lists, and you have to keep things very short. I try to never go above like 3 action steps at one time for a task, because otherwise it doesn't get done, and it's just so much wasted work and energy for everybody. And so that's something that I always try to emphasize for people, that because we get really excited about making progress, right? And we want our clients to get results, and we want them to get results quickly, and we want them to love what we're doing and be as passionate about it as we are. But the fact of the matter is that we have to just take, little chunk by chunk baby steps so that we don't overwhelm people, which is, an unfortunate thing, but it just is what it is. So I don't know what else you have going on. I do want you to kind of break down your kids camp for me, because I've been seeing it on Instagram, and I'm very curious about how that works, because I love the whole movement of creating capable children and helping foster the independence, and just like being a part of the family machine, and really like having like a place in that where they feel proud. So tell me about that, and then tell me about any other special projects you're working on.
Sure, I would love to. So all of June, I posted videos and how-to tutorials of the kids working together to do the work. There was a few that I talked about and that I did, but I wanted the majority of my kids, being my boys, to be doing the work so that the kids could watch it and see, this is exactly how you can do it. And it's not that hard, and it doesn't take very long. So we started with how to make your bed. And then we created a hamper, so that if you don't have a hamper at all, we talked about taking your hamper to the laundry room, wherever that is in your house. That was day 3. And just different things like wiping the table, vacuuming around the table, different chores like that to help mom throughout the house, and learn those skills and get better at it. So those are all, you can see all the posts on my Instagram, Purple Box Organizer. And I did put most of those videos as well on YouTube, and they're under the Kids Clean Camp playlist. So you can look it up there.
Cool. And is that something that you run annually? Do you do this more often?
This was the first year that I ran it, and it was a lot of fun, but a whole lot of work. And it was all about like, everybody get up and get dressed, because we're videoing today. So we're trying to get different things organized and get ready. So next year, I would love to run it for a very, very small fee, and just one of those like skin in the game kind of things. My videos, even the ones where it's just me, it's not kids, my videos are all kid friendly and family friendly. I don't use any language so that it can be played at any time and anyone can hear. And so that's why I thought this would be an easy transition for kids can watch this simple 2 to 3 minute video and watch how I do this or watch my boys do it, and then they can go try it. And by next year, I'd like to have like a certificate of completion and like a chart where they can either print it off or order it ahead of time and put stickers of completion on it. So it kind of helps them through the camp.
Absolutely. That's great. I love that idea. And I also think it's important to point out what you have been doing, because many of the organizers that I've been talking to and a couple that I've interviewed, we're all interested in online course creation. And I think that what you just described is a perfect first step, especially if you're feeling a little bit unsure, if people are going to want to pay for that or whatever. Just go ahead and develop the idea from what you already are doing and run it and see what happens, because then, like you're pointing out, you can kind of revamp and develop more material and make it more, you can film or you can teach it live or whatever, and kind of develop it into a course that then you can sell for people who are ready and invested in the process. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love polished videos myself, but I am not a person that's fancy and I'm not a person that's completely professional. Like, I'm just me. So whoever follows me has to just be okay with that, or they have to go to somebody else.
Right.
I'm just imperfect, but I just want to get my information out there. And I think it's more important that I step over my imperfections and just show the world who I am for who I am, instead of trying so hard to be more polished or be more perfect.
Yes. That's amazing. That is such good advice for everybody. I hope you all were listening to that, because that's super, super important. And I'm really, really glad that you're stepping over the insecurity or whatever and going for it, because you're right. I mean, people, they need the information that you have. That you're a good teacher. That you've got the skills and the tips and everything that people need to really, truly make a difference. So why not go for it, Yeah. And eventually, I'm sure as you continue to run the program, it will continue to gain popularity. People will really see lasting change, because you're doing it for the right reasons. You're not doing it to make money or to make a name for yourself or to impress people you don't know on social media. Right. You're doing it to help these people better their lives. And so, with the right intention, anything is possible. That's my opinion. So
for sure.
Yeah, it's the long game. It is absolutely all about the long game.
Yeah.
So
awesome. I do have a program. I say it's an online course, because what I did was I ran a virtual event in May. And so I called it May Management. And this was just to help moms kind of step back and do a little revamp of their scheduling and their household things. And then I just recorded all those videos. They're pretty concise and short. And it's in a private Facebook group. Very cool. So if anyone wants to kind of revamp their own personal needs, it has 5 videos in there. And it talks about creating personal and household routines so that you can better manage your time. I teach you how to schedule efficiently. And then it just helps you feel a little bit more confident about all these changes that you're making in your home, that this is a good thing and that you can do this. So that is available. Again, it's called May Management. It's $27. Awesome. And when you purchase the course or purchase the videos, you get 1 week of Marco Polo access to me. Oh, wow. So you can show me what you're working on, what you're struggling with, and I can go back and forth with you and talk you through it and give you any ideas and cheer you on.
That is such a good deal, to have access to one-on-one and have access to Monica's brain, people. So that's huge, because I mean, professional organizing work, having us come in or working with us virtually is much more expensive than that. So that is a really good deal. And on top of that, you have the sort of self-study program to go along with it. Would you do me a favor? And because I want to make sure that we get all these details down in the description box, and I'll post it, and let me know what the Facebook group link is so I can send people your way if they want to purchase the course.
Yes, absolutely. I can do that.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. Well, I mean, that wraps it up for me. And I just want to thank you, Monica, for coming on the I Speak Organized YouTube channel to do this interview. I know that people are going to get some major value out of it, and hopefully connect with you and follow you on YouTube, follow you on Instagram. And I'm always telling people that I'm giving away some professional business coaching, a 1-hour professional consultation for people. If you follow me, I Speak Organized on Instagram, and follow Monica, the Purple Box Organizer, and just DM me and let me know that you saw this video, and we will enter you in for the contest to be selected at the beginning of August. So again, Monica, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate having you here.
Thanks for having me, Melanie. It was an honor.
Yay!
All right, that is going to wrap it up, and that means that you've made it to the very end of this video, which also probably means that you are seriously considering entering into my giveaway to have a 1-hour free consultation on all things how to start your business. Shoot me a DM with the hashtag ISO500 and let me know that you watched this video. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.